Hello, so I've been asked to work out 6.34 times 5.2. Well, before I do anything, I know that 6.34 is about 6. And I know that 5.2 is about 5. So actually my final answer should be about 6 times 5, which is 30. So if I end up with an answer that is about 3,000, I know that I'm way off where I need to be. So the method which I'm going to use is a method called Napier's bones. And it involves me, first of all, drawing a table. And I'm just going to put some columns in this table. And then I'm going to put some rows in this table. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of these two numbers and fit it along the top, and the other of the two numbers along the side. So I'm going to take the 6.34 and fit it along the top. And I'm going to put one digit per column. So the 6 is going to be corresponding to this column, the 3 is going to be corresponding to this column, and the 4 is going to be corresponding to this column, and I'm just going to put my decimal point in between the 6 and the 3. Then I'm going to put the 5.2 along the side, so I'm going to put the 5 along this corresponding to this row, and the 2 corresponding to this row, and I'm going to put the point in between. Then all I do is I just fill in some diagonals. So here are my diagonals, working across here. First things first then, I need to see where these decimal places intersect. So this decimal place corresponds to this line down here. Oops. Corresponds to this line down here. And this decimal place corresponds to this line across here. Now where these two lines intersect corresponds to my decimal place. So that's where my decimal place is. So next, I just work through each box. So this box here corresponds to the 4 multiplied by the 5. So 4 multiplied by 5 is 20. Now how do I fill this into the box? Well, I've got 2 spaces to fill in that box. So I just put the 2 here and the 0 here. That corresponds to 20. Great, now I work along. So this box here corresponds to 3 multiplied by 5. Well, what is 3 multiplied by 5? 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. So I put the 1 here and the 5 here. Great. Now I work along again. This box here corresponds to 6 multiplied by 5. Well, what is 6 multiplied by 5? 6 multiplied by 5 is 30. So I put the 3 here and the 0 here. Okay, now I work along the box along the bottom row. So this box here corresponds to 4 multiplied by 2. Well, 4 multiplied by 2 is equal to 8. So I know that 8 is going to go in this box here. But how do I fill this in? Because this top row here, all involved 2 digits numbers. So now what happens when I've got 8, which is a 1-digit number? Well, I just put the 8 in this box here. And I can put a 0 in this box here, or I could just leave it blank. I'm just going to leave it blank. Then I work along. This box here corresponds to 3 multiplied by 2. Well, what is 3 multiplied by 2? 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. So I'm going to put a 6 here. And I could put a 0 here, but I'm just going to leave it blank. This next box then corresponds to 6 multiplied by 2. Well, what is 6 multiplied by 2? 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. So I put a 1 here and a 2 here. Great, I've done all of my multiplication that I need to do. Now what I need to do then is I need to look at each diagonal in each box. So this box down here corresponds to this diagonal along here. And then all I do is I just add all the numbers in that diagonal. So I've just got 8 and I haven't got any other numbers. So I just do 8 in this box here. 8 plus nothing is just 8. Then I look at the next box. So this box down here corresponds to this diagonal up here. And I just end up multiplying all the numbers in that diagonal. So I've got 6 plus 0. So 6 plus 0 is just equal to 6. Then I work along. This box down here corresponds to this diagonal up here. So I just add all the numbers in that diagonal. So I've got 2 plus 5 plus 2. So that works out as 9. Now this diagonal along here corresponds to that. So I need to fill in my decimal place now. So because I've got a diagonal along there with a decimal place along it, I know that that box there, or that line there, is going to have a decimal point on. Then I just work along. So this box here corresponds to this diagonal along here. So I've got nothing plus 1 plus 0 plus 1. So that comes out as 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in this box here. Then this box here corresponds to this diagonal along here. I've just got 3 in that diagonal. So I know that 3 has to go in that box here. So my final answer is 32.968. 32.968, which hopefully you can see is just the result in that box there. Now, what happens if I was unsure where to put the diagonal? So if I didn't bother putting a diagonal here at the beginning, and then didn't have the diagonal there, well, I've just got these digits, 3, 2, 9, 6, 8, and I'm not sure where to put the decimal point. Well, then I come back to what I did at the start, and I say, well, I know that my answer should be about 30. So it makes sense then that the decimal point should go there, because 32 is very close to 30.